In the world's dawn, God created the heavens and the earth on the second day. And on the very same day, God created the angels, archangels, and cherubim. And these heavenly creatures would inhabit the heavens. The renowned Gabriel and Michael were among these magnificent beings. But there was yet another entity who stood out due to his beauty and splendor, known as Lucifer. He was the most important creature God had ever created. But although he had so many qualities, or perhaps due to that, Lucifer was taken by pride. This is the vice that leads to arrogance, vanity, and endless haughtiness. Pride was one of the 7 deadly sins. The proud Lucifer considered himself to be so perfect that he decided to create his own throne, placed even above God, since he wished to be like God. To accomplish his plan, the evil angel deceived the other angels around him. Therefore, the father of falsehood had by his side a third of the angelic beings who inhabited the heavens. Together, they would unleash a battle for heaven. But Lucifer encountered an outstanding opponent, Archangel Michael, who commanded the heavenly militia of God-loving angels. To defeat the Lord's angels, Lucifer turned himself into a mighty dragon and dueled against Michael, who wielded a flaming sword. Notwithstanding all his might, the dragon did not defeat Michael, since the latter had God by his side. Lucifer and his evil angels were banished from heaven. These angels fell on the earth and were trapped in hell. But Lucifer endured even greater punishment. He, once the most beautiful angel, was transformed into the heinous Satan. Lucifer and his fallen angels started to live in hell. But although defeated, Satan still wanted to avenge himself against his creator and decided to attack his greatest creation, humanity itself, which had been created in the image and likeness of God. A serpent-shaped Satan entered the Garden of Eden and convinced the innocent Eve to taste the forbidden fruit. And using his deceitful tongue, Lucifer concatenated the original sin, which caused Adam and Eve to be driven out of paradise. After that, Satan would devote all his efforts to alienate man from God, turning them into sinners so that they failed to reach paradise. Lucifer, the fallen angel, rejected God's grace, and therefore will spend eternity trying to destroy his work.
We all have heard of Adam and Eve, who according to the Bible were the first couple of human beings created by God. But an ancient Jewish myth contests that Eve was the first woman. This myth states that before Eve there was another woman, Lilith. Unlike Eve, who came from Adam's rib, Lilith emerged from clay along with Adam. Since she was created by God in the same way as Adam, Lilith did not submit to her husband's commands because she thought she was equal to him and did not accept Adam's domination. Lilith and Adam inhabited the Garden of Eden, but Lilith's rebellion put her in a situation where she was forced to choose between submitting to her husband or leaving the Garden of Eden. Lilith was not willing to give up her independence. Therefore, she opted to leave Adam and the Garden of Eden behind. The first woman ever created went into exile and settled herself near the Red Sea. God sent angels in an attempt to convince Lilith to return to the Garden of Eden, but she turned her back on God. Without his wife, Adam started to feel lonely. God, seeing that he was struggling with loneliness, decided to create a new woman for him, Eve. Due to her decision to reject the Creator, Lilith was demonized. She was now considered a woman-shaped demon. In her demonic shape, she would have the power to instigate disease in newborn children, and to protect children from evil, the babies were given amulets with the names of the angels who tried to take Lilith back to Eden. These stories affirm that Lilith was jealous of the happy life Adam and Eve led in paradise, and, as an act of revenge, she assumed the shape of a serpent and tricked Eve, forcing her and Adam to taste the forbidden fruit, which caused the couple to be expelled from the paradise. Lilith's story is quite well known, yet this version is not present in the Christian Bible, and it is rejected by both Catholics and Protestants. The version in which she would have been Adam's first wife is found in the Syriac alphabet text. The date of the writings is unknown, but it is believed that they were created already in the medieval era. The myth of Lilith is found in Hebrew, Babylonian, Sumerian, and Assyrian mythology. The figure of Lilith in Mesopotamia was seen as an evil deity, or, when associated with the moon, she was regarded as a goddess with different phases and therefore different moods. That way, she could be seen as a fertility goddess, but also as a devilish figure. There are theories that state that Lilith's absence from the Bible was created during the councils that defined the canonical books that would constitute the Bible as we know it today. The figure of Lilith as an independent and strong woman would go against the patriarchal structure, one of the cornerstones of the Judeo-Christian culture. For this reason, Lilith was embraced by the feminist movement. She is often regarded as the first feminist. The movement claims that Lilith was unfairly demonized, like most women in our history who have attempted to defy the patriarchy. Whether as a demonic figure or as a symbol of women's struggle, Lilith's story is still the subject of much interest. The Bible prophesies that a sinister figure will emerge when the end times approach. This evil being will be known as the Antichrist. He will be the opponent of Jesus Christ when the latter finally returns. The Antichrist is a son of Satan and, like Christ, will come into the world from the womb of a woman. This being, half a man, half a devil, will disguise himself among men, waiting for the final judgment. In the beginning, it will be difficult to identify the son of the devil, because he will not give any indication of his origin, much less of his intentions. His strength will become even greater when men believe less in the forces of Satan. After all, when God says in the Exodus, "I am who I am," the Antichrist says, "I am who I am not." To find the Antichrist among men, based on signs of evil, will be a fruitless search. After all, the son of Satan is capable of the greatest acts of benevolence, only to disguise his ultimate goal, to ruin the work of the Creator. The Antichrist will use his increasing influence to convince men that the kingdom of God does not exist, and that the only existing world is the one in which we live. By denying the existence of heaven, he will convince those who do not have genuine faith in the Creator that hell does not exist either. Thus, without fearing hell, man will become an easy target for the devil's temptations. The Antichrist will become stronger and more influential as the final judgment approaches. He will become an important public figure, and his words will win millions of souls for the ranks of Satan. The son of Satan will proclaim the right to absolute freedom, because by denying heaven and hell, the idea of good and evil will also be ruined. Then everything will be allowed. All the values preached in the Bible will be denied and considered dogmas of a corrupted church, which, with its shackles, makes man's development impossible. The Antichrist will have impressive qualities. He will be an intellectual genius, with great oratory skills, and his political ability will make him an unprecedented politician. A new religion will be born under the command of the Antichrist. This new creed will deny Jesus as the Messiah. The Antichrist will declare himself to be the true and only Messiah. The opponent of Christ will have the power to rule over all nations and will found a world religion. Some say that the influence of the devil will reach the throne of St. Peter in Rome. The church itself will be used to destroy the true faith. Like wolves disguised as lambs, they will use the words of the Lord in a distorted way, only in order to keep men away from God. The Antichrist will use tricks in the form of miracles to take the place that belongs to Christ. He will mark people with the number of the beast, 666. When the son of perdition reaches the height of his power, and many have already accepted his will, Jesus will finally return to save the souls of those who have not yet yielded to the temptation of Satan, and the end of time will begin.
ከቪዲዮ ዕውቀት እንዳገኛችሁበት አልጠራጠርም ፓርት 2ን በቀጣይ ቪዲዮ ይዤላችሁ እመጣለሁ ቻው